how to make a fist. So the way I teach how to punch and to make a fist is pretty standard, right? So there's some styles that do things a little bit differently. We'll have the thumb on top, it'll be vertical, different things. But the way I teach is not only just the standard way to punch and the way to make a fist, but it also has in mind the application value of the closed fist. Whereas if you think of the closed fist as a grip, I'm holding onto something, most people, when they grab onto something, they'll grab in a way that they want to hold on to something, that they want it to be tight, that they want it to be a firm grip, they don't want to drop whatever it is that they're holding. And when you look at their grip, if you take the thing out and you see how they close their hand, it's going to resemble pretty much the way that I teach how to make a fist. Right? Because when we have our pulling hand, for example, and we're doing some sort of technique that's not two-handed, that we have a hand that's back here waiting. It's not a waiting hand, it's not a dead hand, it's not an idle hand, it's a pulling hand. Right? If I'm punching and the other hand is back here, it's because I'm pulling into the technique, or I'm pulling into this. Even this is a pull, right, in certain styles. Even if you have a different version of that technique in your own particular style, you want to think in the context of where that technique comes from. So if you have a pulling hand with a pulling grip, that closed hand is going to look like a fist. It's going to look like a fist in general practice. But when we apply it with a partner, you want to think about, how am I supposed to grip, right? Usually you don't grip thumbless. Maybe certain things, certain variations, if you, for weightlifting, if you want to minimize the engagement of the forearms, or if you're doing pull-ups, you might use a thumbless grip. But in general, if I'm pulling an attacker or a partner in some sort of combative sparring or grappling or something, typically when I grab onto somebody, for strength of that grip to really try to control them and pull them into a technique to strike, I want a strong grip. And it's going to look like this with the thumb on top. Right? If I'm holding onto my own arm, for example, right? It's not like I'm here this way. It's not like my thumb is, sideways this way. It's on top, so that if I were to squeeze my hand off and continue the grip, my fingers are going to come inward and my thumb is going to be something like this. So if I have Bob's sleeve here, just to see from the camera angle, I want to grab on really, really strong. Now probably the person's arm is not going to be that scrawny, but it might be a little bit wider. However wide it is, if I'm grabbing at the wrist, grabbing at the elbow, grabbing whatever, I want to have a firm grip, a strong grip that's not going to slip off, that he can't just simply pull out of. Right? Because I'm pulling into a chop, pulling into a punch, pulling into a whatever, right? So I might have done my high block, right? If I have my prepare, pull down and then pull back in. If this pulling hand is a closed grip around his limb to pull into that technique, or to pull, especially for a back stance, into something, then this has a very specific purpose. And for that purpose, I want a strong grip, and so I want my fist to look like this. If this video is being helpful to you so far, I'd really love it if you could give it a thumbs up and share it with someone who could benefit from it. Thank you. So given that, to make that version of our fist, all we want to do is take your open hand, you can start with your index finger and curl the fingers in, and then once they're in, you can no longer see the fingernails, stick that thumb right on top. It'll help with the integrity of the fist, keep it nice and tight, keep it nice and strong and solid, so that when it hits something or someone, then it's more likely to break it than be broken by it. So on a solid, hard thing that hits maybe a soft thing like a cheek, then that's going to be strong. But especially if it's used in application as a grip with a pulling hand, you want to make sure that the grip is strong. So to practice that, when we do our techniques, our fist at our side is always going to be like this, regardless of what the other hand is doing, the active hand, right? Both hands are always active in the way we apply our techniques and the way we're training. And so if this is actively pulling into an active strike, we want to make sure that our fist resembles the practical application that is a grip. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that was interesting and or helpful. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. Let me know what else you'd like me to cover. Until next time, fruitful training and have a great life.